Hello, I am Aaron Monheim, and I was a high school trainee this summer. You can contact me through my phone number, area code 661-312-6605, or by email at amonheim@gmail.com. So let's get to the evaluation. First question, relationship with Jesus Christ. Number 1. Describe one or more experiences you had this summer in which you especially felt Christ at work. That would be probably actually when we had a conference with Ralph, and he told his story, and it was just so close to mine, and it really convicted me about my call, and so I really felt Christ there for probably the first time in almost a year and a half, and I was a partner with him in that, and just the fact that and that's question 2. I felt a partner with him in that just because it was a time where I felt him again, and then it was a time where I was able to ask him really what he wanted to do with me for the rest of my life, and so that was a really cool moment. Question 3 through 5 is a relationship with myself. Question 3 is what has happened this summer that I never expected at the beginning of the summer? How has this been of value to me? That would probably be reconnecting with Corey Jones. And I guess that's not really it doesn't come out really necessarily as a relationship about myself, but I've learned a lot about myself through that. I've learned empathy, which is a great thing, and so that's been a really large value to me. Number 4 is, what have I been stretched to do this summer that I've never done before? What was your attitude and response in taking to these stretching situations? When I feel uncomfortable, I can generally have a bad attitude, and so that's something that I've realized that I need to work on. But one of the things was doing prayers to the people, Trainee Sunday. It was definitely an awkward thing to just go up and down the aisle praying for people, but I know that it's a really good thing, especially with my draw to pastoral ministry. It's something that I need to learn how to do. So it was a really nice thing to have an opportunity to do, and so that has changed my attitude towards things like that. Number 5 is, have your experiences this summer influenced my life plans? If so, how? Yeah, I mean, well, yes and no. They have, in a sense that I am now conscious of God's call in my life. I've been conscious of it for 3 years, but I've been running from it. And so now I feel like I've been slapped upside the head, and so now I'm, ready and raring to go. So I'm going back to Whitworth in February, going to finish up my degree. In March, I'm starting my ordination process. And so really it's kind of just giving me the kick in the pants that I need. The relationship with others, that's questions 6 through 12. And so number 6 is, since the midsummer evaluations, are there any additional children or youth in your area ministry to whom I've developed one-on-one relationships? Yeah, I've developed relationships with kids like Brian Hassel, Jake Fankhauser, Ben Barton, Zach Case, Ben Barton and Zach Case especially. I think it's been a little bit harder with Zach because he's pretty quiet. And Corey Jones. So that's question 6. Question 7, are there any people in the church with whom I've developed one-on-one relationships? Yeah, Donna and Lou Cusa. That's a big one. A lot of these relationships, though, are like long-standing relationships, so it's kind of hard. I've kind of stuck with those people. I think probably the one that's new is I've gotten to know Ernie Baldwin pretty well, and that's been really cool. So yeah, but the Kusas, the Isaacsons, the McQuarries, the Donahos, the Serenes, those are all people who I like to spend time with, and with whom I've spent time with. I mean, also Dan Woodrich too, definitely. So yeah, those are people in the church who I've developed one-on-one relationships with. Um, Describe ways I've been encouraged or challenged in working with my trainee ministry team. I think I've been more challenged by other people outside of the team. Donna Kusa constantly is challenging me. And that has been a huge help. She challenges me to love people. She challenges me to be a man of integrity and to be somebody who owns his actions. And that's been something that's been difficult, but I feel like that's the way that I've been pruned this summer is really that God is using her as my gardener to prune me, because she is, I think, definitely made a huge impact on me this summer. Do I appreciate the trainee committee? How are they helpful? How could they have been more helpful or effective? Comment on the staff persons with whom you worked. That's Faye and Heather. And I'm going to throw Dan and Ralph in there too. So the committee was great. I loved working with them. I loved spending time with Marty and Amy and hanging out with Dale and Roz, and I know that Laura's always a person that I can talk to. So that was a great thing. I really enjoyed the team, especially because it was smaller this year, and so I felt like I had more of an opportunity to get to know them as individuals. So that's been really awesome. With Faye and Heather, Heather has been very encouraging to me. And she's always telling me about how I can make something better, but she does it very constructively, so that's been really helpful and a great asset. So thank you, Heather, for that. And Faye, Faye, I don't know what to say to you. No, I always enjoy spending time with Faye, and I think she's been very helpful. I think that, there's always some things that fall through the cracks when this is something that she just picked up from Jake and Michelle, but she's done a great job, and she's always been helpful, and she provides me with a lot of stretching experiences as well, so that's been great. Question 10, what did you appreciate about the teachers, advisors, parents who helped planning and gave feedback? How are they helpful, and how can they be more helpful or effective? I don't know. This is something where we didn't really have a whole lot of contact with teachers, advisors, or parents. I mean, Mid-High had met with Mike Hassel a lot. I don't even actually know who our go-to person would be for that. Steve Critchell and I have talked somewhat about Sunday school stuff, and same with Rick Pratt. And I mean, it's been helpful, but a lot of the stuff that I've heard from them, it doesn't necessarily make sense. It's hard for them to get a point across. So I think I know that they have good comments and good ways to improve our lessons, but they need to try to be better communicators in that aspect. Are there any rough spots that are unresolved? If so, how do you intend to resolve these issues? I don't really know. I'm fine, so I guess that's really not a question that needs to be answered. Number 12, are there issues with your ministry staff in the area and advisors should know before I leave? No, I don't really have anything it's not like I had before where we had kids doing things that they shouldn't. They're all pretty much fine, so I don't really have anything to say for that.